Hey there, welcome to That Dang Dad. My name is Phil, and tonight I want to talk about someone who played a big role in the development of my sense of humor, George Carlin. Specifically, I want to talk about what I think is his most insightful one-liner. George Carlin was well known for his sharp, rowdy style of stand-up comedy, and particularly for pointing his acerbic wit at politicians who enriched themselves at the expense of the people. George Carlin also found a lot of humor in language, particularly the way language is used to mislead people or evade responsibility. If there's any single theme that I think runs through all of Carlin's comedy, it's his contempt for lies, both the big lies coming from those in power, as well as the little lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. While some of his comedy has aged a little roughly, such as a bit poking fun at terms disabled people prefer to be called instead of blind or deaf, for the most part, his passion for truth at all costs feels as relevant now as it did then. Carlin's most famous bit is probably the 7 words you can't say on television.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
And lately, his bit about the big club makes the rounds on social media once a day, depending on if Nancy Pelosi is doing some insider trading or not.
Because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
However, Carlin has a one-liner that I think just might be his most timeless and insightful joke. I first encountered it in his book Brain Droppings when I was a teen, and even then, I always thought it was a great gag. Now, as a wizened old chunk of coal, I recognize not just the humor in it, but also the deep human truth in it. I dare say that if you can internalize this joke, it just might make you a more empathetic person. Are you ready? Here it is.
Have you ever noticed when you're driving that anyone who's driving slower than you is an idiot? And anyone driving faster than you is a maniac!
On one level, anyone who drives gets this. It's a universal truth of driving that your conduct on the road is the standard by which all other drivers should be judged. You alone know what's appropriate on the mean streets of your city, and God help anyone with the consummate temerity to drive differently. What I love about this bit is that it applies to so many more human interactions than driving. It really encapsulates the human condition, because think about it. You're a decent person, a helpful person, a conscientious person, right? Therefore, the things you do must come from a place of decency, of good nature. If that's true, if someone is doing something you wouldn't do, or doing it in a manner you wouldn't choose to do it, it must represent some kind of moral deficiency on their part. If it didn't, that would either mean that your choices don't actually reflect your goodness, or even worse, that maybe some of your choices are bad? Unthinkable, impossible, get out of my face with that. I'm exaggerating a bit for effect, but I do think this is an impulse we've all felt before. If we like to be right on time to a party, people who show up late or even too early are just being rude. If we like to put the silverware out in traditional table etiquette style, those who don't are acting like children. If we don't clap for scenes in movies, those who do are barbarians, ruining the experience for everyone. If we like to store our trash cans out of sight on non-pickup days, those who just leave theirs visible in their driveway are living like animals. We can even go beyond etiquette or cleaning and into matters of taste. When it comes to horror films, people who like more extreme cinema than you are creeps, and people who like less are wusses. People who watch shallower TV shows than you are sheep, and people who wouldn't touch your favorite trash TV are snobs. And for adult entertainment, people who like it more exotic than you are perverts, and those who like less are prudes, and so on and so on.
And so on and so on.
We're good people, and we make good choices, and if a choice wasn't good, we wouldn't make it. Therefore, ipso facto, a choice we wouldn't make must be a bad choice. Speaking of bad choices and bad people, I have nothing but contempt for Jordan Peterson, and it brings me no pleasure to report this, but I do think one of his rules for life is actually pretty good advice that pairs really well with this Carlin bit. Assume the person you're listening to might know something you don't. He needs to take his own advice a lot more. I think this is a nice companion because, similarly, maybe the faster or slower driver has more information that we don't have. Perhaps the speeder is on their way to the hospital for an emergency. Perhaps the slower vehicle has a mechanical malfunction. Or perhaps they know the actual speed limit and you don't. Maybe they know this street has lots of kids darting into the road, so they're cruising a little slower. Likewise, many people make different choices than us for a variety of valid reasons. Maybe they have a different cultural relationship to the situation, or maybe they're dealing with some fatigue. Maybe they misjudged how much time they would need to get through traffic, or maybe they just don't care about the same purely aesthetic things that you do. Some people really like the salad fork to go in a specific place. Other people don't give a shit. Great. May 1,000 flowers bloom. Look, I realize this is not a mind-blowing revelation. These videos can't all be staggering works of genius. I'm just saying, next time you're judging someone else's banal conduct or their personal tastes against your own, give a thought to whether or not old George might have been making fun of you with this one. Because seriously, that's a guy you do not want heckling you. Anyway, how does this apply to your life? Let's get vulnerable in the comments. Share something you are unfairly judgy about. I'll start. I'm really judgy about picky eaters who won't try new foods. Just try a bite. You might like it. It's actually none of my business how people want to eat, and I'm not inherently more courageous just because I'm willing to try the most fucked up thing on any menu. How about you? Let us know down there. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't, and please share this video with the fast and slow drivers in your life. As always, I appreciate you joining me. Hope you're having a happy new year, all things considered. And I will catch you on the next one. Good night.